Welcome to the bold analysis. Today, the 10th day, the month of January 2025, we are at 97,000 subscribers. Thank you. We are 3,000 shy of the 100,000 target. It is possible. Kindly subscribe. Subscription is absolutely free. It will be very ironical that after Kenya Kwanza rode on, or actually campaigned their way to presidency through the youth euphoria package as the hustlers, the 2027 contest is actually shaping as Ruto versus the youth of Kenya. It is what it is. Some people like saying it is what it is. If you look at if you really examine the nature of these campaigns, or rather the nature of this our politics, it is taking that angle. But of course, why am I saying that? I'm saying that because even after a promise to end abductions, a promise that we are going to charge the youth that are drawing the president in social media and putting the president in a coffin, even after the promise to take them to court, the abductions are still just going on. And today we are going to look at two incidences, and one that really brought protests in central Kenya. I want us to look at this video. This video was about an abduction incident in Kajiado.
Gari or something. Si wafanya si. Hakuna mwezekano. Wanga. Sio tumsaidie. Aje sio tumsaidie. Ani abdata sawa.
Now, abduction and kidnapping are forms of violence. Violence can't be solved by violence or by watching or mumbling. Watching helplessly is intolerance on another level. I've made two observations from that 1 minute video. Number one, of course, the person taking this video seems to be somewhere not very far, but he has a good phone because you can see him zooming the number plate. And of course, they are in fear. Yes, they're thinking of what can we do, but they are in some sort of fear. Now that is the ideal situation. What happens? Personally, I've witnessed when someone is being bungled, and I think personally I've witnessed being bungled in a police car, not in some car, somewhere around Donholm last year. So I know how it feels. Nilikuwa kwa gari na watoto. I trembled. So I know how I can relate with the feeling of the person taking that video. And I know some of us are saying, some have started saying, why is he not doing something? Make these two observations. The public tried asking, who is he? What has he done? And they were told just something, that he's a thief. Was told he's a thief. So if he's a thief, fine. And of course, they made that arrest. I think what should actually happen, because it is also possibly that is a thief or is not. It's not being arrested on government critic. But again, make that arrest in uniform, so that in police uniform, so that the public was. Remember, he's talking about he's a thief, and the public there, I want you to get the observation of the members of the public saying, how many abductors? So people's mind have went there and is bringing around it. Number two, when the crowd started milling around that car, the guy who was pushing, making that arrest, cocked the gun and the crowd freezed in fear. So you can see the way all that happened. I saw Obina raising his voice on this. I want us to listen to his argument here.
You know, these things we call abductions, you know why they're happening? It's because we are allowing them to happen. There is no way we are just going to be standing around looking at someone, because that next time it will be you, or it will be me, or it will be your son, it will be your father, it will be your dad, it will be your brother, it will be your sister, whoever it is. But the more you keep them, you allow them to happen, the more they'll keep happening. You know, people only do the much you allow them to do unto you. The sovereign power belongs to the people. All right, that is in the constitution. All right. So, if the police will not be coming, na wajitambulishe. Naseme ni aje? We are ABCD. Tumekuja kwa arrest Obina because of this and this. Tunakupeleka police station flani nini. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me call my lawyer. Let me call whatever tuende nini. Ni sawa. If they don't come like that, guys, let's stop allowing them. I know I'm gonna get bashed for this one or whatever, but it's okay. Wacha ikuje venye itakuja. But it's about time we decide where we want the country to go. Because the police is not taking liability. And neither is the private sector. The government is saying, oh, sio sisi, hatujui penye wameenda. Wanasema, oh, watu wamejikidnap, watu wamejifungia kwa Airbnb and everything. They'll keep doing this runarounds, but mambo imegeuka maze. Things are very different right about now. It's a decision we have to make. Where do we see our children in the next? Me, I have kids, man. I don't want that my kids will get abducted like that for nothing because what are the Zoya? We are not turning it a banana republic, my friend. All right. So it's about time we get to talk and we get to act on it. Every young man, every old man, young woman, old woman, penye uko. Uone ati mtu amechukuliwa, unaona na scream akiingizwa, kataeni hiyo story. Afadhali museme ni aje, munataka police station gani, tutamleta kwa hiyo police station. Lakini hiyo mambo ya watu wanachukuliwa by force nini, I don't like it, I don't appreciate it, because the next is going to be you, next is going to be me. Leo na nyamaza kwa sababu si mimi, lakini kesho ikikuwa mimi, huyo mtu mwingine mwenye angenitetea atakuwa tayari alikuwa shashikwa hiyo design ama ashafanywa hiyo design.
Now, what should worry the president most is the fact that there could be some genuine arrests, and those arrests may be on some criminal charge. But when the public see this sort of arrests, the public reads abduction. Now that should be the concern, because I said majority of people being abducted, no woman. Kuna wanaume una mwanamke unaona abducted. They are not elderly, they are young people, especially the Gen Z demographic. Now this should worry the president. This should worry the president. And I want us to think outside the box. It should worry the president because even opponents can stage manage. Kapo, shika. But it's not very easy to stage manage. For it even to stage manage, you must have the blessings of the security officers around that area. So what happened there is, it actually shows the kind of fear going on. There is another incident that happened in Kenyan West, Nyeri Nyahururu Highway. And there it even led to protest. In Kenyan West, the residents blocked Nyeri Nyahururu Highway to express their outrage over disappearance of a local resident known as Simon Githinji. Now this is the gentleman. This Simon Githinji, commonly known as Simo, was last seen on Wednesday morning. His motorbike was found abandoned near Solio Ranch, close to Muyogo Secondary School. A joint search involving the National Police Service, NPS, Solio Ranch Rangers and local residents took place on Thursday evening. During the search, only Githinji's phone was recovered, but it was found switched off. The situation has left residents agitated and fearful about their own safety. And you can see the way they confronted the police. They blocked that highway, that Nyeri Nyahururu highway. It's one of very smooth highway. Nishaitumia nikitoka Nyandarua. It's one of very smooth road, by the way. So they blocked that highway, calling for accountability of that time. I've had the same police. Now you need to hear the same thing. Eh? Yule amesema thief. This debate, this informal meeting between the security officers there and the locals is also talking about is a thief.
Ile kitu iko sisi tunafanya zetu vile tunasaidia nyinyi. Wakati yeye alikosekana hata mimi na wewe tulikosa. Na kwanza tunataka huyu anipe simu yake kwa kichaka huyo tunataka. Kwa kichaka. Sio maswali moja.
Kuna watu wanachukua ukichukuliwa mwingine ambaye ni mwizi akachukua hiyo atasema Saimo akagusia. Unasikia? Hapo baadaye tukagundua ni mwizi. Ya hiyo nafasi.
The script looked the same. I'm not discrediting that maybe he's not a thief. Maybe these are two instances. But I like something in community policing. The community cannot move, consolidate themselves in a number, and continue and do a search of someone missing if that person is a thief. Or if that person doesn't have a good, is not well behaved. The community always know who you nine mbaya. So even if that one is short, that I used to work in some radio station. I used to work in Tiny Radio. So one day, let me just say this story. One day when I was going home, I found a place where mob justice was going on. So apparently mtu alikuwa ameiba skuma. I just stolen some skuma wiki in some grocery. It was very early in the morning. So he had broken into that kiosk and stole some few things there. So they were two. So the two of them, the mob was descended on them. But I realized the mob was beating one other person, like Peter, and the other person was given some leniency. Why? They said, who you nine in Baya? Peter is the wrong person, but this one is being recruited. This one is normally well behaved. So community policing, the community know, and as much as the police is saying that Samoei Githinji is a thief, or rather is linking into some sort of that profile, but for community to have such interest on just making sure that Samoei is found, I choose to discredit that police statement. Raia is it after mwizi? Raia wanajua mwizi. Now, this is coming as Murkomen. I listened to Murkomen, our new interior CS, right in the Uasin Gishu, saying that social media users having some overreach are going to face the law.
Ukiona wale wanatengeneza mapicha na kutengeneza picha kama wameweka mtu kwa jeneza na wanaweka jeneza kiongozi wa taifa, mimi nataka niulize, and I want to ask this question to every parent in our country, and particularly the church leaders who are defending this bad behavior, and all those politicians, including those who don't agree with us politically, who are defending this behavior. If tomorrow your child goes to school today and another child whom they share the same class sends a picture, the same picture, when your child has been put in a coffin, will you still defend that behavior? Because when that message is sent to your child, what is that errant child saying? He is threatening your child that I will kill you. And we are here clapping for behaviors that have been perpetuated for a long time. I want to assure you, Your Excellency, myself and our team in Interior, we are going to relook at this behavior, and we will make sure that we will charge all of those who are using this social media to threaten others. Because if we don't do so, we will not have a country that is in order.
I thought this should be it. The extrajudicial violence is a door the country is opening, and it can be abused. It can be abused. I just don't know whether fellows also see this, but it is prone to some abuse. The big question tonight, the president has said, we will stop abductions. The CS said, we will charge them. Some other person said, and just the other day, the country had some relief because those who were abducted were released. Parents had some relief. So the question here is this: why are we still seeing these incidences? And it is time for the country to interrogate. This is a ticking time bomb, and I just don't know whether the president's team believe this can be sustained. It is not really sustainable in the long run, if you ask me, because it will reach its elastic limit until people say enough is enough. And the government should be wary, Murkomen should be wary, that there are some criminal elements that can take advantage of that trend and just be kidnapping people, soliciting for money. These things, I have heard Kichumwa blasting Natembea, that Natembea should not lecture them about abductions. And during Uhuru era, there are dead bodies that were found in River Yala. But he sasa simeenda sana. It was of this way, you know. Yes, even during Uhuru time there were some abductions, but this one, I want to tell the president something here. Why are they really going on? There is something that I see, and this is what should worry the team. Abductions doesn't mirror bottom up. Why? Is it bottom up? We decide to build from bottom to up. So the person at the lower part of that, the person at the bottom is going through troubles. It is not part of it. And I overheard the president saying, true, that in 2027 he doesn't have a competitor. His competitor is his track record. But what advisors should whisper to our president is, abductions will be part of that track record. And maybe they should also see that on abductions, Kenya Kwanza is breaking a record. It is a bit too much. Yeah. Just to say, it's a bit too much. It's overdone. Why is, despite of the promise, why is it still going on? In my opinion, there is a belief that some of these online critics are working with political opponents. And I think I've heard the president saying that some people are paying those young people to criticize so that they demean those leaders. So someone believes that when I hit them, probably I'll be able to stop those politicians from, the motive of the politicians from thriving. I believe what should then happen, if you have some feeling that someone is paying some young person so that he can make a cartoon about the president, then the best you should go for the financer. Because the person doing the cartoon is offering a service. The real holder, the custodian of the motive, the custodian of the intended damage, is then the financer, if you believe so. So we should be able to see high profile arrests, so that it takes, and I think that is why it's going on, that this crackdown is actually targeting some powerful people that are believed to be the ones that are sponsoring these cartoons. Number two, the state is convinced that they have managed to control the narrative. They're a bit convinced that to be control. When these Kenyans, the 6 Kenyans went missing for 50 days, of course not so much. It is only the online battalion that were running hashtags of free so and so, free so and so, until some protest happened. And the public kept demanding that let the state release these people. But the state stood their ground that we don't know, we are not the one, but we will stop it. Then they were released. And after they were released, the security agencies ran with the narrative and said, detained the ones that are now being reunited with their families. Then there was this narrative of, and this is why they think they've won it, by saying that let parents guide the children. This thing is a moral decay. And I've listened to the statement by Murkomen in Wasingishi saying that it's immoral. And so these people are going to be arrested. Now, someone feel that that narrative of let's crash these people because today is the president, tomorrow is the church elder, tomorrow is their parent. Someone feel that narrative is selling. And so people will look at it that way. Remember, as that is going on, and that is one thing where it's continuing. The state still doesn't feel like the public have pushed them. And that is because the opponents have not whipped the masses. The only 2 leaders that spoke about it was Rigathi and Raila. Raila spoke about it once or twice. In Homa Bay during the Gunpoint tournament, and then during the Pingu festival in Siaya. But Rigathi was so vocal about it, really pushed about the extent of going to Embu and saying if they are kidnapped, if you have the body, if they are dead, then bring us the bodies we bury. So the opponents are not, they realize that, I will whip the masses. Lastly, and this is my punchline, I'm afraid the abduction might not end. Why? The events of June 2025, June 25th, 2024, is the biggest threat that the president is facing. And I think there is a crackdown on those who they believe are influential and could be part of such a mobilization scheme. Because when you suppress that, that's also suppressing vote crowd mobilization. That to my end is what I see. It is not as much as, of course, but what should be the principal focus of the duty bearer, the ruling class, is to ensure that the public knows an abduction, arrest, and I wish to ifanya na Wagaria police, even though some of these instances I know there's some high profile criminal elements that you also have to go in plain clothes and you have to go pseudo, you have to camouflage and all that. You must go in different forms and different police formations that do not use uniform. But then the public doesn't have the knowledge. So let the public also be intelligent, because I also know that another thing is you can also not just say let the public act, because sometimes you act, unapiga kelele, then the police shoots and say obstruction on duty. So really, we need to address this. Thank you.